What is going on, my Alpha Futures YouTube family? Welcome back to the channel again. Today, we're going to be talking about those of you that are maybe going into 2025, still struggling as traders. We're going to be going over 5 things that, hey, I've struggled with in the past and give you some tips that help me along the way to get you making some consistent profits, whether it be on a personal account or a prop account with us here at Alpha Futures, to get you making some profits in 2025. If that sounds like you as a trader, I want you to stay all the way to the end of this video because throughout those 5 tips, that last one is the most important to me. That's allowed for me to do over 200,000 in prop firm payouts over the last 2 years. I want to see you making those same consistent profits this year trading futures. My first tip here today, and first thing we're going to address, is going to be your trading checklist. A lot of new traders basically just wake up every day and they're hoping to make some profit in the market. That's not going to result in any sort of consistency or profitability if we're being honest here. So what should our trading checklist look like? First of all, I am a huge proponent of if-then statements. So let's say you're trading a stock or an ETF or some futures like myself. You should have levels marked up going into the day that you give an if-then statement. So let's say on NQ, for example, today we are trading around 21,400. I would look something like if NQ pulls back to the 21,350 area, then I'm going to be looking for longs up to 21,500. That is a clear, structured statement for me to follow, as well as some objective levels for me to be looking for going into the day. Now, if you just wake up and have something like, if NASDAQ opens up green, I'm looking long, you can see that is a much less structured checklist or plan for yourself. So I'm a huge proponent of if-then statements, and as well as having objective levels for you to follow. Now, if you're not much more of a levels trader, somebody like an EMA trader, or maybe some Bollinger Bands, whatever you use, what kind of indicators, that can replace some of those levels there, but it would need to be something like if NQ shows a pullback and then crosses over the 21 EMA, that is just a hypothetical there. I'm not an EMA trader myself, but that could be a nice objective thing for you to follow in a well-structured manner. Again, not necessarily just, hey, if NASDAQ looks like it's going to go up, I'm going to get long. That is not much of a trading checklist or plan for yourself to follow. So it does need to be objective, and I would say throw some if-then statements in there for your plan. Another major thing is have this somewhere accessible to you every single day. My brain just likes when I actually write things down. I was the same way in uni, same way in high school. I liked taking notes on pen and paper. Now, obviously, we live in a digital world, so if you want to use something like Notion or pin it on your desktop, that is fine too, but it needs to be somewhere you know you're going to look at it every single day. For me, I like having a pen and a pad of paper next to my trading setup because, again, my brain just seems to retain information a little bit better, what I actually write down and read myself. But have it somewhere accessible to you, something like Notion or just even your Notes app if you're using a Mac like me. Have that pinned on your desktop every single day that you can revisit it very easily. Next point here is going to be earning your large positions. Most beginner traders I know, whether it be prop traders or personal accounts, they're just looking to build a buffer on their account with their first trade, with that being a massive win. That would be fantastic if we could all be 100% hit rate on our first 1 or 2 trades on a prop account or a personal account, because then we would have a massive buffer to work with. That would be fantastic. The reality is that's not going to happen. You need to earn those big positions. Again, whether it's a personal account or a prop account, you need to find some way to protect yourself from drawdown, because you will either lose the account on prop if you go into drawdown right away and don't dig yourself out, or a personal account, we're obviously just going to lose whatever money we put in. I'm sure you've all seen personal traders, and I've done this myself several times. I've put in $2,000 and I think, you know what, if I lose it to 1,000, I'll stop there. Guess what? I lose the next 1,000 as well, just because I'm undisciplined and I'm trying to catch that trade that will reverse the account back by over leveraging it. So you need to earn your large positions. I'm a big proponent. What's helped me over the years is going to be scaling into my winning positions. Now, this took a lot of experience in back testing for me to really understand, because obviously I will be averaging up my position going long, and then we would be averaging down if I'm going short when we add to a position in profit. But for me, this is what allowed for me to really capture some big wins, because I'm obviously increasing my position size towards that TP, but it is still protecting the account from drawdown because I am adding to a winner, not a loser. This is very important for personal or prop traders. If you are adding to losers, you're obviously just creating more and more risk every time you add to that position. because as the position moves against you, that magnitude will be larger and larger with every tick, every pip, or every point on the asset you are trading. So I personally only recommend adding 2 winners. It is a little bit of a skill set that will take some time to develop, but the idea here is you need to be earning your big positions, not just taking them from the jump on the account. That is the easiest way to blow a personal account or breach a prop account, in my opinion. A tip here on those ads, for me personally, what I've found, I'm somebody that used to trade on the 1 minute quite frequently. The 1 hour has since become my favorite time frame personally in my trades. I never execute on anything lower than the 5 minute though. This is what keeps me patient on those adds to my position, because if I'm adding on the 1 minute, I might be averaging in too soon. It could turn into a break-even trade or even a loss quite easily. When I use those higher time frames to identify where I should be scaling into positions to try to maximize my profit and position size when it's going my way, which is of course what we want as traders. We want our large positions to be in trades that are going our way. It has worked extremely well for me to work on anything 5 minute or higher, mostly being the 15 minute and the 1 hour personally. That is where I look for my scale in opportunities. It's not like the 1 or 3 minute. I do think you'll find yourself averaging in too aggressively there and will turn a winning trade into a break-even one or even a losing one by sliding that average up or down depending on if we're short or long, and basically eating away at your profit on the position. An extremely helpful thing we have here at Alpha Futures is going to be the scaling rule on those standard accounts. Again, I've talked about this in other videos. That is what I recommend for those of you that haven't traded futures before. Go with our standard account rather than our advanced account. That is why they are named that, is to help you identify which stage you're in as a trader. With this scaling rule, we allow for you to earn more buying power as you gain profits on the account. It just really reinforces this idea that you should be earning your large positions, not just taking them immediately from the start of the account and hoping the trade hits to build a buffer. This proves consistency and helps with that profitability to catch those big wins, but after you've built a buffer on the account. Point number 3 is going to be you are trying to do all of this alone. So trading is already incredibly frustrating and lonely. I'm telling you this from personal experience. When I started out, it was just a singular course by myself. I didn't join a community yet. For me, even though I wasn't necessarily trying to just replicate another trader's style, I was trying to learn from multiple different traders. Joining a community, even if it was through a course or you don't necessarily need to be looking for communities through signals or like trying to copy that trader is not the way to go about it. But getting yourself in one of these thousands of paid or free communities out there, I'm sure we've all heard about Discord communities, Telegram. I think there is a lot of value there, not necessarily just from copying somebody's trades, but speaking with other traders that are on a similar journey, because with them, we can share our analysis, our struggles, our findings, our market research, all things that we can see. Are you succeeding? Are you struggling? Bouncing those ideas off each other will make trading feel much less lonely, and it will actually accelerate your progress as a trader, in my opinion, because that's what I saw over the years. As soon as I put myself in some different trading communities, and I did not go in with the intention of, I'm just going to copy whatever the admin does, but I'm going to speak with some of these other successful traders in the group, including the admins, and try to pick pieces from either their psychology or their strategies that I feel like I can replicate on my own. So I'm sure we see it all the time on Instagram and stuff. I've also said this in other videos too. I'm not an ICT trader myself. It seems like everyone on social media is. I believe there are things in those teachings and concepts that I can apply to my own. Like, for example, fair value gaps. I like using imbalances on the 1 hour personally. I don't go any lower than that, but I've found that's something I've picked up from their strategy that I can use on my own and replicate in my own day-to-day trading quite well without actually obsessing and copying other strategies, thinking that, oh, if I just copy this trader on Instagram, I will now be profitable. But taking bits and pieces from all the successful traders I've met over the last 6 years and just bouncing ideas back and forth. It takes some of that stress away from trading, knowing somebody else is doing it with you. And it's always good to talk to other people on the same journey, express some of those failures, but also express your progress. Traders love being proud of each other. As much negativity as there is out there in the space on Twitter, maybe some Discord communities too. Most I've found do tend to be quite positive with each other. That positivity is absolutely contagious and is really necessary in an already very frustrating space. So stop trying to do it alone. And I would say for a solution here I'd offer you today We have thousands of traders in our free Discord community, and I've purposely broken all of our channels up into different asset classes for futures. So whether it be indexes, currencies, or metals that you are trading, we've got somewhere that you can talk with traders that are trading similar assets to you. You can bounce ideas to each other without having to pay any sort of subscription or fee there. Our Discord community is completely free. We want to see traders progressing and working with each other in there. Point 4 today is going to be beginner traders that force themselves to trade every single day. So I started my trading career as a full-time student and an athlete in college, as well as working 2 part-time jobs. You can tell already my schedule did not allow for me to trade every single day. It simply was not possible for me to expect myself to trade Monday through Friday, because some days I've had practice that would run long. I'd need to be at my part-time job in the morning when the market opened, or I had a test I needed to study for, or a class I actually needed to be in, and I couldn't open charts at that time. If you are in a similar situation, or even working a full-time job that is your priority in that moment, or maybe another life priority if you're a parent or taking care of a family member in general, there are going to be priorities in life above trading at times, and that is okay. But that means you need to have the discipline to not try to trade that day. I'm sure we've all been in a stressful situation at work. Maybe something breaks we need to take care of, a coworker's maybe creating an escalated situation, right? These are all stressful parts of our day. Imagine how much more stress you're adding to it if you're in a trade that's in drawdown at that moment. Just not something I wanted to put myself through. I did it plenty of times at the beginning of my trading career, and I learned very quickly this is only bad for my mental health as well as my account balance, trying to balance both at the same time in that moment. So while trading, you do need to give it the respect and the time it deserves if you want to take it seriously. You also need to understand, though, if you have a full-time job, that is your main source of income. If you were a caretaker for a family member, that is obviously a huge priority in your life. Trading sometimes needs to take a back seat in that moment. Do not force yourself to try to trade every single day. Now, with that time management that comes with trying to balance trading with a full-time job or whatever you are doing with most of your time throughout the day, I recommend trading at the same time every single day. And the reason for that is your brain is going to start to pick up on some pattern recognition at that time. Like we see highest volume hours are going to be the first hour of New York open and the last hour and going into New York close. If you have availability and you're scheduled to trade one of those times or both of those times every single day, you should only be trading at those times. Because if you jump in and try to trade at, let's say, noon Eastern time, that's going to be some price action and volume that you're not really familiar with and you have not actually executed in before. If you take a trade out of boredom there, again, that's what I'm talking about, forcing trades and over trading. That is what we see most beginner traders blow their personal accounts or breach prop accounts extremely easily within 1 to 2 days because they were over trading and forcing themselves to trade at times that their brain has no pattern recognition yet and no familiarity. They can't execute with confidence at all because it's a completely foreign time to them. So I do recommend if you're at work full time, a lot of us can usually find 40 to 50 minutes we can block out on our calendar. I recommend trying to do that each day you plan on trading. And if you have something come up at that time that day you intended to block off, do not even bother trading. You can come back and back test later when you get home from work. There is no need to force a trade outside of those hours you usually trade because, again, you're just going to be uncomfortable and you won't be able to execute confidently because it will be different price action and volume than you are used to. Just to share with you a little bit more experience from myself, I've been trading for over 6 years now. In the last 2 years, I've really hit my stride and done over $200,000 in prop firm payouts. But I can tell you, as this business grows, as I get more and more busy, I'm no longer trading 5 days per week. Realistically, I'm trading about 2 days per week right now, and I'm doing some of my best payouts in my career simply because I am only trading at my allocated times. And if I don't have time that day because a customer needs my help or something runs in with the business on the tech side I need to fix, I just will not trade that day. And that has helped with my hit rate as well as my profits so much because I'm keeping myself in trading environments that I am most familiar with. And my last tip here today, and one I think most beginner traders are probably not doing, and it's why they're struggling, your prep work and your study time should outweigh your actual time in trades or even your allocated trading time each day. I see so many people just open up charts in the next 5 hours, they will be placing whatever trade they see coming their way. consistently losing, and obviously they breach multiple prop accounts in the same day. This is obviously just over trading. It's also going in and skipping the 4 points we've already gone over today. So this one does really encompass all 4 points. But the main thing here is your prep time needs to outweigh your time in trade. So I gave the example of blocking off 40 or 50 minutes in your workday if you are trading with a full-time job. That means you should be studying and prepping at night after work for the same amount of time, if not longer. We should be using this hour, maybe 2 if you have the time, for market research, analysis, backtesting, and sharing our findings with other traders. I mentioned in one of the points earlier in this video, that time should outweigh that 40 or 50 minutes you were allocating to actually placing trades each day. We hear a lot of traders compare trading to sports. I think this is one of the most direct ways you can compare it is going to be that study and prep time. A lot of sports, we have 4 or 5 days of practice for maybe 1 or 2 games a week at most. Our prep work, our practice time severely outweighs game time in sports. Trading is just like that, or maybe, somebody that does powerlifting. They're going to be prepping for months on end for a powerlifting meet that only lasts 1 or 2 hours in a day. It is just like any other hobby or anything else that requires discipline and progress. Your prep time needs to outweigh your actual time in trades. Our trading day is that game time. We need to be well prepared to be able to execute. But again, the only reason we'll execute confidently and well is going to be if our prep time outweighs that time in trade. Do not try to skip this step and just hope you wake up one day and all of a sudden take a bunch of profitable trades. You need that trading plan. You need that trading checklist, and you need to be taking the steps we talked about in points 1 through 4. And then point 5 is, hey, make sure you are truly giving trading the time it needs, because if you don't, this game is unforgiving. It is ruthless, but you can come out on top if you actually do give trading the time it requires and the work it requires to be able to execute day to day. And like I said, the trading day is game time. Come ready to perform, but you can't skip the process. Hopefully, all the new traders out there and even some of the experienced traders, hopefully you learned something from this video today. If you did, please hit that thumbs up, drop a comment, hit the subscribe button. We're looking forward to making more and more educational videos for you guys here at Alpha Futures. Please let us know in the comments anything you're looking to see, anything you're struggling with as a trader. We are here to help. Can't wait to see all of your success here at Alpha Futures.